Campanella. It is good to see you, aka Mrs. Soul of Brothers Grimm Genetics Seed Company. Uh, we have been friends now for a little while, probably almost a year now.
Yeah,
But I've been a
maybe a
fan
little
of
more.
Brothers. I've been a Brothers Grimm fan for many, many years. I think Brothers Grimm was probably some of the first seeds I ever bought. After I was using another company and ended up, well, I don't know, I planted 12 seeds and 8 of them ended up being male, which was a surprise. So, after that I switched, and I've got a whole bank of Brothers Grimm. But you know you better than I do, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what you do, and, I think we'll have a great conversation today.
All right. So it's good to be here. Brothers Grimm, I guess we'll start there, was founded in 1996 by my husband, Rick Campanella, also known as Mr. Soul. He started this company while he was a nuclear engineer by day. He has a
Uh,
master's degree in nuclear engineering from Rensselaer, and so by day he was a nuclear engineer, and then by night he was getting shipped um, soup cans in the mail at night from Cincy. Okay,
mhm.
Cincy Smile in Amsterdam, and they owned a canning company. So he was getting a box full of cans that he would have to open. Do the can opener, and he would pull out a clay ball that was wrapped in like 25 condoms full of seeds. And so he was their distributor. And when he started getting those strings, he started breeding at night. So he was a nuclear engineer by day, breeder at night. So, and he had a long history in breeding. He started breeding guinea pigs when he was like 11. That crazy.
On purpose or by
Yeah, he
accident?
always
'Cause
had it. He always had an interest in just the way that that science. So he started breeding when he was 11.
mhm,
Guinea pigs.
mhm.
That's how he got into it. So he started doing that, and then he started his company at Heaven's Stairway was their first distributor out of Canada, and they had that old Forum 77 where when it was back in Prohibition, everybody was like using secret user ID names, and that's how he came up with Mr. Soul.
Ah, yes.
So that's why he used that name. And then he left the industry for a while when things got a little hairy back in the day, and he went to Belgium, and he was a gold medal bicycle racer in Belgium. So he won a gold medal, a silver medal, and a bronze medal um, in his 30s for bicycling in Belgium. And then he came back to the States, and he's restarted Brothers Grimm in 2016 with Duke Diamond. And then Duke started his own company, and they went their separate ways. And how we met. I owned Cannabis Oklahoma magazine in Oklahoma, and he started writing and advertising for my magazine. And then we
Mhm.
became really good friends, and here we are. So,
So
yeah,
when was that?
that was in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Brothers Grimm he reignited it in 2016. You've been
Uh,
with him and Brothers Grimm since 2020,
right.
and recently was upgraded to the CEO of
I
Brothers
was.
Grimm.
I was.
So, tell us a little bit about that because it's interesting that, I mean, Rick obviously was running the whole thing and he's the breeder and everything, but you've always been in.
Well, what happened was, I mean, a lot of people like look at us online or whatever and think that we're this huge company, right? We're not.
Right.
We're just a family business, and basically, he'd run Brothers Grimm from his home office for 25 years, right? So,
Mhm.
um, whenever I came in, I am a little. He's more of a old school type of, he's not much into the marketing or the SEO or any of that stuff. He just was gonna truck along the way he was trucking. And
Yeah.
I came in and introduced a bunch of new ideas with marketing and SEO, and started hiring people, and we started growing quite a bit. And then he's older, so he's gonna be retiring this March, and he realizes that I'm doing things that he cannot do. And as long as we keep the genetics pure, and his breeding practices the way that he's always had them, right? Which I want to keep that always intact. Um, he wanted me to run with it, so I ran with it. And then it got a little overwhelming for him because he was a lot. And so he just kind of stepped out and went fishing. So he's been fishing for the last 3 years. So I've been running the company even before I got named CEO for the last 4 years.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah,
So
because you are the lady to talk to if you wanna talk to Brothers Grimm, right?
eh,
Rick is an awesome guy, he's wonderful to talk to as well, but,
he's
yeah, you're the one who stepped up.
he's
Uh,
amazing, and but he's also a scientist, so he's more in his head and kind of like he'd rather be walking around the field with our dogs or our alpacas or in the breeding facility by himself. He's more of a he'd rather be by himself. And
yeah,
me, I'm
well,
like talking to the
yeah,
people.
us scientists, we tend to be a little bit introverted, and we
Uh,
don't really like being around people, and, you know, for me, like, the people that I work with, they want me to do marketing and, like, call cultivators, and I'm like, "No, that is not what I wanted, like, I am not that person for you."
and he's
Uh,
not either. He doesn't want to
right.
make sales. He's not a sales call person. He's not he and he's so smart that when he's talking to people sometimes it sounds like he's talking down to them a little tiny bit. You know what I mean? And so I'm just like,
Same.
well, I'm just going to take over this communication, and you can
Yeah,
just have like star appearances.
same.
uh,
I'm the same way,
he
and I
like
try
over
I
talks
did
me, just like, where are you? Like, what do you mean you don't understand? And I'm like, yeah, you know.
sometimes it's
So
hard to dial it back. You're just, you're just being very blunt and
once
direct, and people
and
don't
speaking the
talk.
facts, right? You're
Yeah,
speaking
people
the
yeah, and people might not, receive that very well.
right. Most
So
people are perceiving from the emotional place,
yeah,
not the scientific, you know,
yeah, yeah,
logic place. So
yeah.
more people are emotional than they are logical. Um, but yeah, so that's that. He's retires in March, fully retires, and but he'll still be on board for like overseeing, directing, breeding, practice, any like questions people have. But he's been training all of us for about the last 5 years. So we've been doing all of it since that time, which no one's aware of, but um, so that we can maintain the quality of his genetics.
Well, I think everybody out there, I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't or hasn't heard of Cinderella 99, right? And that's his well, one of his claims to fame, right? That's his
Right.
baby. But I think he's got a few other things that I mean, obviously he really likes to breed with Cinderella 99. And a lot of times on the packet says C99, right? And
Uh-huh.
that's the same thing. But he's got, I can see the list next to you, Cinderella 99 on top.
Uh-huh.
And then, so what else does he like to breed with? What else, what other genetics are you guys working with?
So Rosetta Stone obviously is one that he won high times for in 2018 as being top 10 strains in the world. It's my favorite strain also. So I'm not much of a like I smoke, but I also run a company, and sativa and indica make me tired. So I have to be very careful at what I'm because I
What
have
you're
to
getting
focus and
into?
run this company, right? So
Yeah.
Rosetta Stone is my favorite strain because it is super balanced. It keeps me focused and alert, but also doesn't give me anxiety because I'm like, you know,
Mhm.
smoking too much or whatever. And I've watched like it's got a really high THCV in it, right?
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
And a THCA, and I've watched several of my friends stop taking opioids with this. It like removes the pain situation. I've watched cancer patients use this medicine for their nausea. Like
Mhm.
it is just a very balanced strain, and I mean I like it a lot. So we breed with that a lot, like we just did. The Cap Junkie by Rosetta Stone. We're doing a lot of crosses with Rosetta Stone. Um, and then the other one, I would say his I guess nemesis strain that he loves so much is Mac One, right? So no
Uh-huh.
one, everybody has an issue with breeding with that because it's like the perfect strain that it doesn't breed very well or produce very many seeds at all. So he's like destined to like figure out something that will like actually breed well with that plant because he loves that. That's his favorite strain, Mac One.
So it's my understanding, and I could be wrong. I'm not Googling right now, but it's my understanding that Mac 1 is a natural triploid. So that could be the reason why it's not breeding well, because diploids and triploids don't
Yeah.
their chromosomes don't match up, and so of course it's not going to be easy to breed with, right?
Right. So we've got like maybe out of the times he's attempted this, we've gotten maybe a total of 200 seeds.
Yeah, that's
Whereas
going to be
normally you take a plant and you get like 10,000 seeds off one plant, right?
right, right.
He gets
And
like 200 seeds.
And are those seeds viable?
Mhm.
Yeah, so when it does get the seeds that it does produce tend to be viable, but it doesn't
Yeah,
make
they're
very many
good, but
seeds.
it's they're very like they're like rare. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it was, it's like trying to cross, a human and a chimpanzee. They're just not
like a
compatible.
mushroom and indica, you know, like different
Yeah, they're
species.
too their ploidy levels are different. Their
Yeah.
number of chromosomes are different. So, um, and then okay, so we've got we've got Cinderella 99, Genius Juice, Mac 1 is
Uh-huh.
his nemesis.
And then
Um,
Airborne, I mean, he breeds a lot with Airborne, Jack Rare. You know, those are his. So we have 12 main lines that he has, you know, stabilized over the last 25 years, and that's Apollo, the Apollo
mhm.
lines. That's also our highest testing strain besides Black Tangy. But Apollo tests at like 32%.
Mhm.
And he has those lines. So they're Apollo Haze, the regular Apollo, Apollo 11. So
And your website is really easy to navigate and look through and figure out, uh, what you're looking at. So I really like
I
that.
gotta thank my website guy, Mark, for that one.
Yeah,
So
Mark's
shout
done a
out, Mark.
really Mark has done a really
We're
nice
actually
job.
we're gonna be redesigning it, just with a different appearance. Same functionality, but just a different appearance. 'Cause I've got new packages now, and I've created new packages. Like he has the staple cards that he would usually get, like like these cards,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah,
you get
those
a
are nice.
violet and a blister, and
Mhm, mhm,
but I've gone to the pre-printed Mylar bags, right?
mm.
So like, I just switched to these, which are cool. But
Alright.
it went from like $2 a card to 1 cent a bag.
Yeah, that's a nicer
To
price
print.
point for
It's
sure.
quite a it's I'm all about saving some money.
And yeah. Okay, so yeah, so something else really cool, well, I think it's really cool, uh, is your mystery packs. Like, I love surprises. Like, I am a big surprise girl. Like Christmas, I don't want to know what you got me. I don't want to shake the present. When I was pregnant, I didn't even want to find out the sex of my baby because I love surprises. So the mystery packs to me are awesome, and I would buy, 100 mystery packs if I was, in a state where I could grow, but I'm not. I'm in New Jersey, which sucks. But so you should tell everybody about the mystery packs because I think they're fantastic.
Well, it was kind of so we had all these seeds. Like when we're counting seeds or we're sorting seeds or we're doing this, we lose some of those seeds during the process, and we gather them all up. Well, anything that we drop, even if we know which strain we're working with, if it's dropped, it could be another strain, or it could be, you know, we don't know. So we aren't going to put it in a package and say that it's Cinderella 99, right? So we take all the seeds that we lose when we're sorting or counting, and we were just feeding them to the chickens. But I was just like, why don't we just save all of those and then we'll do like a mystery gram pack. They're all viable, they've all been tested, you know, but we don't know what they are. So we can't package them as something that. And so I just figured that the mystery packs would work well with people because we can put them for a low price. They still get the same quality of genetic, but we just don't know what it is.
Mhm, mhm.
So
Yeah. I
yeah.
I think that's such a smart idea because, I used to work in a lab and it was the same situation. If you drop it, it's trash, right?
Yeah.
Because you're getting DNA from one particular flower. If you drop it on the counter, you can't pick it up because it could be mixed with something else or whatever. So
Exactly,
yeah.
and we don't
You
what we take a lot of pride and detail in what we're doing when we're counting, make sure that everything is we hand count. We hand
mhm.
pick every single seed, like 3 people to get all these packages out. We make
Yeah.
sure everything is 100% quality. If we drop something and we drop like 50,000 seeds at a time,
And
but
you could have sold them.
they're
And
gone.
they're
Yeah.
at a really nice price point for I feel like it's if for this niche group of people like that they don't want to breed, they don't like brand new people who are like, I just want to try it and see what happens. And you get the mystery pack. It's at a very nice price point compared to what you can purchase other seeds for. Sure, you don't know what you're going to get, but it's Brothers Grimm, so you know you're going to get a quality grow. You just the flavor,
You
the
just don't know
effect,
what it's gonna be.
right? And so it's kind of like, well, let's test it and try. So
Yeah.
the price point on the mystery pack is what?
$10
$10 for 5 seeds
for 10 seeds.
or 10 seeds, right? So that's pretty awesome. So if anybody out there is, into experimentation and like surprises, this is a great place to get some seeds from. So what other new stuff do you have going on over there at Brothers Grimm?
We have lots of stuff going on. So for one of our biggest things that Mark and I came up with over the last couple of years was the tester program, right? So,
Oh,
a lot
yes.
of companies will pay for testers. I mean, like get testers to test their strains or whatever. They're testing at a smaller scale, right? They'll get like 3, 4, or 5, maybe even 20 testers to test their product, right? So we came up with this plan here to like sell our testers, but also at a affordable price, obviously, but get our
Mhm,
community engaged in the decision making and the testing process. So we have like hundreds of testers from commercial to home growers that are giving us feedback with this little QR code on the back. They upload all their and we have grow offs for the testers. We test them before we release them for a year to 2 years, right?
mhm.
We have them all tested with Tumi Genomics, with SE Labs, with um, Verdi Bioanalytics, and then we also test with SE Labs. So we will test all of our stuff before we release it, so we know that they're good. But we
Mhm.
haven't had like feedback or like long-term data results, right? So the fastest way is to get our community engaged and allow them to be a part of the testing process. Like we get all this feedback all day long, every day, and then we'll do grow offs with it. So we have hundreds of reports, whether it be from commercial cultivators or home growers telling us, hey, oh, they did this or it did that. Out of 44 testers that we released in the last 3 years, we've had to remove 4 of them, 4 testers for bad results. And it was 3 out of like 300 reports saying that there was a herm or there was a germination issue or something like that, right? So we've only had to pull 4 products. And when I pulled them, people were pissed. They're like, it's my favorite strain. What do you mean? Did you pull it? You gotta put it back. So it was pretty cool that, out of that, we've had that much success rate, for
Mhm.
our tester program. And those are our biggest sellers are our testers. So they get
Yeah,
10 seeds for $33, right? And then they get to be a part of the whole process.
it's like a citizen science project, right?
Yeah,
Where
that's right.
and I talk about this a lot. Um, it's really hard for one person or one company to do all the work. It's so much easier to spread the work among the community and then have them report back and figure out what do people like, because if you're shopping at dispensaries, you are at their
Mhm.
disposal, like you get what they chose.
You get what
So
you get,
and
and you don't throw a fit.
right, and right now they're choosing based on yield and THC, so the variety is not great, and so to have a program like that where people can give their feedback and be like, "Oh, wow, this is way different than anything I've had," or "Love the flavor profile," or "Wow, this knocked me on my ass," or, whatever the case
Or,
may
wow,
be.
there's a weird, mutant, or
Yeah.
they get to upload all of their feedback. And what's cool about it is that I get to engage with all of those people, right? So I get to
Mhm,
talk to them every day. I get to hear their feedback. I get to connect with them and know what people really want. And
mhm.
that's, I think, what kind of sets us apart a little bit is, you don't know how many times I get called a week and they're going, you actually answer the phone. I've been trying to call these other companies for months and they don't answer, and they like personal connection, and
Mhm.
I interact with them on our groups. And, so it's a huge um, catalyst for our company for the people when they talk to somebody live and they feel like they're cared about and they're heard, right? Not just like
Yes.
sending an email and then getting some, random electronically, set up response or something. They want to connect. And I'll spend hours on the phone with my customers where I'm like teaching them how to grow. They're asking me questions, and Rick will come in and be like, wrap it up. And I'm like, no, you go fix and I will connect with you. So, yeah, I
Um,
think that's what sets our company apart is that we talk to all of our customers personally.
that's awesome. I mean, I do feel like ever since COVID, there's been a disconnect of person to person contact. And even you and I right here, like we are not in the same room.
I
but
know.
and there's all these chat bots, you know, that pops up.
You
Do you have
know
a
what's
question? Can I
good.
help you with something today? And it's a bot, and like it takes forever to get to talk to a person. So to actually call a company and have somebody pick up the phone and be like, "Hello, how can I help you?" It's like, "What? Oh, even like McDonald's and Taco Bell, you pull up and there's an automatic thing that says,
Yep.
"Would you like to try blah 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 today?" And then the person who's in the building comes on, and it's a completely different person when
So
like
I have the same number for my family and friend. Like I haven't gotten 2 lines. I don't have a business line. Like it is my line, and
mhm, mhm.
everybody's welcome to call, and everybody's welcome to connect.
And I
So
have your number.
I know you call me all the time, and I'm just kidding.
And so, let's see what else. Oh, so you said you get your so for 2 years before you release a tester pack out into the community, you said you get it tested through SC Labs, Toomey, Genomics, and
Economics,
Vern Bio.
Bernie
And
bioanalytics,
so what are those 3
and CSU.
and
So
CSU? So what are those
uh,
4, and CSU is Colorado State University. What
right.
are those 4, uh, institutions testing for?
Okay, so SC Labs does our certificates of analysis for potency, right? Which proves that they're hemp products, right?
Mhm.
So
So they're
basically,
actually
that's
testing
for
the
the
seed.
shipping. That's for the shipping portion, right? So all seeds in seed form are going to test under 0.3%, right? Which is the legal, limit for hemp.
So they're
And
not
so,
u so they're not testing flower, they're testing the actual seed, the content of the
correct,
THC of the actual seeds,
correct.
right? Okay.
They take 400 seeds, they crush them up,
Mhm.
and they test the potency of the seed, which we usually get 0.0%.
Didn't know
So
yeah.
I had to produce those so that we were able to ship to all 50 states.
Mhm.
So like a couple of years ago, we were getting all of our packages seized. Right.
Mm,
And
mhm.
so I got an investigation letter from the USPS in California, investigative, you know, division.
Whatever.
And I said, well, why did you, and we recorded this on video, by the way, Mark and I, when I was talking to the investigator, and I was like, well, why did our packages get seized? And they said, because it smelled like marijuana. And I said, that's not possible.
You're like, "I smell like
There's
marijuana, what's your
no
point?"
there's no THC in this in the
Right.
seed. And he goes, well, do you have test results to prove that? I said, I absolutely do. And I sent it to them. And
Mhm.
we were the first company to get whitelisted to be able to ship to all 50 states. They actually repackaged my seeds and shipped them out for me. So which
Oh,
that was pretty cool. But SC Labs tests for the potency so that we have those documents to send with the seeds that we're shipping. And then Toomey Genomics and Bernie Bioanalytics test for HLV. They do the noxious impurity testing, test for anything that it could be a contaminant or anything like that. And then CSU does our germination.
okay,
They
so
test
those
for our
are
germination
so
rate.
these are all seed-specific tests.
Correct.
What it grows into is
That we don't
that's
sell
not even a
flour.
conversation.
Yeah, we don't sell flour. We don't sell that product. Have I had our flour tested that we've grown? Yes, but we're testing our parents, like the parent lineage,
Right,
right?
and
We're not
you're
testing the
not
and
selling your flower,
right,
you're
correct. So we're just testing
feeding
the
it to the seed.
viability of our parents and what that looks like. And then we just test the seeds because we only focus on the seeds. We don't sell flour at all.
Yeah, I was in a conversation on, TikTok this morning where somebody was saying, people think that every seed turns into a plant. It doesn't, which could be true if you're a shitty seed company or if you've been storing your seeds incorrectly, but you actually get germination rates. So at CSU, they would plant 100 seeds and see how many actually
They
pop,
take 400 seeds and we get
and
a
they
99% rate every single
yep.
time.
Yeah. So that's I don't know that many seed companies who offer that kind of information and documentation. I mean, I'm sure they're doing it in-house, but I've worked with a lot of seed companies, as you know. Um, but very few of them have, COAs on the seed, have germination reports from a third party, company, and
Well,
things
I'll
like
tell
that.
you why we started that. My husband didn't have that either. I mean, he started in the prohibition,
Right.
side of things, and so he's like, "Well, what do we need that for?" Yada yada yada. I'm just like, so all of these commercial cultivators, right, or not necessarily the home growers, but I still want to make sure everything's pure for them. The commercial they're regulated by the marijuana authority or by they have to have meet certain protocols in their facility to be able to even bring anything in. So
Mhm.
we were losing sales and losing money for because we couldn't sell it to them because
Mhm.
we didn't have those certificates of analysis. And so my husband like, I don't need that. They're doing. I'm like, well, we do. This is legal industry now where you have to follow certain protocols. And so I wasn't going to miss out on those opportunities or have people say, I'm sorry, I can't get that from you because you're not in metric or you're not, registered with the Minnesota Department of Agriculture. So each state by state has a different requirement, right? Like, so in Minnesota, if we sell to retailers or if we sell anything there, we have to have our Minnesota Department of Agricultural license to sell seeds there. They don't require their people buying the seeds in the state to have that license, which is odd, but we have to have one there, right? And we have to
Right.
do, follow certain labeling laws and all that stuff. If we don't follow all of those protocols, which I have to keep up with and Mark has to keep up every single day, we're like looking for new, you know, because it updates all the time. If we don't follow those, then we lose out on, like, they can't buy from us. We had our
Yeah.
seeds taken off the shelves in Minnesota, right? Because we
Because they
didn't have
changed the
them
rules
labeled
on you.
properly
And they
for
changed the
their
rules on
state.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and this industry, I'm sure there are people watching that aren't in the industry. There's probably people watching that are in the industry. It is you have to stay on your toes, especially if you're operating in multiple states because the rules change daily.
State by state.
Yep.
So, like let's say there's a federal law. Well, state law supersedes that federal law in certain scenarios. And so we have to go state by state to make sure that we're meeting all of their labeling requirements, testing requirements, you know, or we, get our seeds confiscated or we get letters that, you're going to, so we follow all of the guidelines. And I mean, there's been a time or two where we like missed some little thing and I'm like, don't worry, we'll get that taken care of. But it's a lot. It changes daily.
It does.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you get your seeds tested for hop latent viroid. So
Uh-huh.
they used to think that it wasn't transmitted through the seeds at all. Come to find out, it is.
Certainly
It's a
is.
lower rate than from plant to plant. So if you're doing clones, but I think it's what is it 10% they say or
It's a
something
little
like
less
that.
than that, but yeah.
Uh, have you had any positive tests with hop latent viroid or
We have it on our seeds. We did test our mother plants at one point long ago. One of the mother plants had and we confiscated it and we had to start over. But
Mhm,
it was because we were bringing clones into our facility from
mhm,
outside sources and my
mhm.
husband did not test those. We had destroyed 3 entire rooms 2 years ago and, like, completely remediate our facility to be able to even, like, continuing what we're doing, right? Because, we had HLV.
To make sure all of the seeds remained clean.
Correct.
Yeah, HLV is, it's a tricky one.
Well, and it's mostly coming from and Pythium is too. But, it's mostly and PM. But it's mostly coming from outside sources where they're not cleaning their tools.
Mhm,
Their water source is contaminated. Their
mhm.
soil is contaminated. I mean, so it's a lot to keep up with every day to make sure that every single thing is like it's like you're running a hospital. You know what I mean? Everything has to be completely sterilized and you know,
Yeah, and if you've got clones and you're putting them all in the same tray and one
yep,
of those clones has hop
yep,
latent borate
rest
viroid,
everything.
now your whole tray has hop latent viroid. So
Yep.
when you're bringing clones in, you have to separate every single clone into
We
its own water system.
quarantine all of our
Yep.
clones now to where anytime we bring anything in, we quarantine that. Um, it's very rare that a seed actually develops anything. It's mostly on we end up with issues with our
Plants.
parent plants, right?
Mhm.
So, like with PM, someone comes from another facility to our facility, or was walking through the freaking yard, and then you don't, put your feet in booties and sterilize yourself. You're taking that into the plants, and it can go from your clothes to the freaking plant. So we're really careful about a lot of that stuff now. Whereas before, Rick didn't even think about it because it wasn't regulated back then, right? So he was
Mhm.
just doing what he does, right? And
Or
so we fought a
yeah, or
little bit
you
about it. We fought a little bit about it because I was like, we have to do this." He's like, "That's ridiculous. I've been doing this for 30 years." And I'm like, "Well, I don't care. We need to be here, not
yeah, yeah.
we're not in prohibition anymore, my friend."
Yeah, and even, if you have employees that have home grow, you
Exactly.
never know what people are bringing in from their own houses,
Correct.
so it's really important that
Nothing comes into
you
our
and your
facility at all until it's
yeah,
quarantined and tested, and then we will put it out there.
Right on. Um, so what
Our
else? What
others, all our other stuff. I came out with my first strain. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, let's talk about your strain.
So I came out with Pink Portal
What is it called?
OG.
Pink Portal?
Pink Portal.
Okay.
So it is Cat Junkie by Pink OG Kush. Right.
Okay.
My first one.
Pink Portal.
Yeah. And the next one's gonna be Pink Portal by Genius. Right. So I'm basically keeping a pink Kush for the first part of my line. I'm gonna be using the pink OG Kush to breed with and cross with.
I didn't even know there was a pink OG Kush.
Yeah.
Is it pink?
Yeah, it is. The buds come out pink.
That's cool. That's
It's
cool.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna send you some because it's your
Because
signature color.
congratulations on your Pink Portal.
Thank you. It's going really well too. So
Yeah, good.
um and then we just released the Black Tea TNG, which is the third strain of the Trailer Park Boys. So that it's Agent Orange by Orange Tangy. One of the strongest strains we've ever made. Like I have friends of
Crazy.
mine that like smoke all day long and they're like, holy shit. Like it like
Yeah.
shuts them down. I was like, that's not for me, but cool.
So your
You know,
Trailer Boys, Trailer Park Boys
yeah.
line has done really well, right?
Extremely well.
People like the Trailer Park Boys, and
They love it. I watched it 20 years ago. I mean, they've been so this is their 25th year.
I've never seen it, but
And
I
they
did
had
notice that
12
you. Yeah,
and they had 12 seasons and then they hadn't produced any for like years. They were just doing the podcast. They just came out with their 13th season, but I watched it. I binge watched that. It was funny. I mean, I grew up in the trailer park. Honestly, I could go relate to that stuff. So, um, it's a classic comedy that gets you out of reality. It's just a funny kind of a shit
yeah.
show.
And I was late to the table for Workaholics and late to the table for Letterkenny, and
I love Workaholics. I could watch TV in 7 years.
you don't have time. You work 20 hours a day.
I do not have time. I do not have time. When Rick and I first got together, he had 10 retailers. Now he has 240 retailers. And
Well,
like, yeah, it's going pretty fast. It's going pretty fast. So
that's a big jump, and not to mention all of your home growers that are all ordering from you, and you can't just order one ever. Like when I order from you, it's like I'm just gonna put 10 different packs in my bag.
yeah, we always try to make sure anybody orders one, they get another one for free, or we try to hook people up.
Yeah, I think Rick's always hooked me up with either like um testers or stuff that have been removed from your circulation. I think he hooked me up with some Purple City genetics a couple times. So that's always, like I said, I love surprises. So opening my package from Brothers Grimm is always there's always something special in there.
Yeah, we try to do that. So we're extending the Trailer Park Boys line. Montel Williams, our recent collaboration, love them so much. First of all, like Montel is amazing, right? He is been fighting this, advocating. I'm not going to say fighting because that's a negative, connotation, but advocating for our cause for 30 years. He was the first Black talk show host, right? First
Mhm.
African American talk show host. He was the first African American officer, in the military. He's brilliant. He's an engineer. He gets along really well with my husband, engineer, same thing. But he is brilliant. He's passionate.
Mhm.
He loves to connect with the people, but so he had that talk show back in the day. I'm sure you remember,
Oh yeah, I used to watch it. Oh
who's
yeah.
your dad? Who's your father? Type of thing, which I watched after school every single day in that era. But they actually canceled his show when he started advocating for cannabis. Canceled the
Oh, I
show.
didn't know that.
Mhm.
That sucks. Yeah,
So
my
he was
boyfriend and I
really
were trying to figure out, like, we were trying to remember all of the talk show hosts back then, and we had forgotten
Jimmy,
some of them, but there's
Jerry
Montel,
Springer,
Jerry Springer, Phil
uh,
Donahue,
Tyra Banks.
Geraldo, Sally Jesse Raphael,
Yeah, yep,
Ricky
yep,
Lake, Jenny
yep,
Jo.
yeah. I used to watch all that crap.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But you know what? I had someone tell me the other day, if you put all of those talk show hosts in a box and they're all going at it, Montel's coming out. Montel's the one coming
Well,
out
he
on
was
top.
always so Jerry Springer, like that devolved. Maury Povich devolved into,
Yeah.
just people cheating on other people and getting into fights
Drama
and, whoring around, whatever. But Montel
evolved.
never, uh, his was always very high level, very cerebral, good
Classy.
guests, good conversations,
Yeah.
um, not trashy at all.
He hasn't
So
really changed
yeah, no, he's
in a
great.
whole time, and he's just like, "I'm Montel."
Yeah, yeah. You uh I don't know how you met up with Montel. Obviously, he's an advocate for the plant and you supply seeds. Got together, put out a line what is his line called?
Called Dream Widow,
Dream Widow. Okay, yeah, that's right. And it's Blue
and he
Dream.
specifically reached out to us and wanted us to do this cross for him because that's what helps him with his MS.
Is it Blue Dream times White Widow?
Uh-huh.
Yep. And so he also has a YouTube
Inspired.
channel and he does podcasts and he had you on the show, which was awesome. And you told him they needed to reach out to me and have me on his show. I'm still waiting for that episode to come out. It was a really great conversation. And
Oh,
he is,
it's coming out. It's coming out hot. She told me, I think it's in the next like week or 2 weeks or something like that.
oh dang. Yeah, I'm excited for it to come out. And he was very engaging. He asked brilliant questions and we just had a really good conversation. And he was like, "You need to come back on." And I was like, "Anytime,
He is
totally."
he's brilliant. It's so refreshing working with him and working with Melanie, who's the president of
Mhm.
Montel Media. They are engaging. Like anytime I need something for them, to market or talk about it, see, they are like right there. They are completely engaged. They're helping sell the product. They want to reach people. They love people, and they are really focused on the medicinal side of this plant, and they're just really passionate about it, and it's awesome and refreshing to work with people that are so engaged in what they're doing.
I wish I was besties. Well, I'm hoping that Montel will come on my show. I feel like a little bit of an imposter starting a new podcast, but my
He
thought
shouldn't.
process behind this was, well, I'm getting some support from my Flora DNA, so it's not like I'm throwing my time away. I'm actually, getting a little bit of compensation. We're able to do some cross collaborations with various people, and I get to talk to all my favorite people who I'm having
Right.
conversations with daily anyway.
Right, and we talked months before you started this. You have a lot to say. You're brilliant. You need to be sharing that knowledge. You
Well,
know
and
what I mean?
it's not just my knowledge, right? It's I wanna talk to people like, this industry is huge. It's not just growing and selling weed. Like, there are scientists, there are breeders, there are cultivators, there are,
There's
dispensary owners, there's
attorneys, there are
extractors. Yeah,
legislation,
yeah.
laws,
Chemists, genetic
patients.
like, even within the sciences, there's, like, a whole bunch of us, and I I mean, I don't wanna have any just, Joe Schmo coming on here talking about, the best weed he ever smoked, like, that's not what this show is about, but
This is not that get high.
but there's a wealth of knowledge out there, and nobody knows everything, and the people are so incredibly diverse, and the things they do are so incredibly, um, uh, creative, and I just
It's
wanna
like a
talk to
podcast of
everybody.
all perceptions.
Yeah,
Right?
like, I just
So
wanna talk to
you get
everybody.
everybody's perception on it, and it all flows together, right? So I think a big part would be interviewing the patients and seeing how this medicine makes them feel, you know what I mean? And how, it is affecting, my grandma with cancer, or how it's helping so and so with MS, or, I like to hear a lot more patient perspectives than I've been hearing, from the industry. Right. So I feel like there's maybe a little bit of a lack of patients getting
Feedback.
to share their experiences and having a platform for a voice in that area. I think that there could be more of
Like,
that.
feedback, and I know there are a couple of advocates out there that are in the limelight, like Montel is one of them, he
Yeah.
tells his story. Nikki Lawley is another one, she
Right.
had,
I wanna hear from,
traumatic.
like, actual people sitting at home
Yeah.
that don't have networks, right? I would, like, give them a voice
I
to
would
be
like
able
to
to
do,
share
like,
their
a panel, like a Zoom,
that'd
with
be cool.
multiple people and go around the room and, like,
I would love
tell
that so
us
much.
about your connection with cannabis. And something
Yeah.
that I've been working on, and I think this is how we got started talking, was, TrueCut, which is one of my companies that I'm starting up. We want to be able to, you know, create some IP protection for breeders, give some verification to growers, so being able to verify that what they're growing is what they think they're growing,
Right.
and then when that product gets packaged, be able to put something on that package to show the customer that this has been tested and the genetics are Durban poison, let's say. And so then the consumer can purchase that product, take it home, and then we can start connecting consumer experiences to specific genetics. Whereas right now, you can buy Durban poison. Who knows what it really is?
Exactly, and I think the only thing that has saved us in that area because we've tried to have our, Cinderella 99 or, we've tried to get our IP, plant breeds protected. But they don't do that in the United States. They don't allow that. You can't IP a plant, right? So luckily, the reputation that Rick has built, since 1996, when he says this is what it is, people believe that, right? But we don't have the
Yeah.
ability to legally, you know, patent or label that because they don't offer plant protection here.
Yeah.
So
And
we're actually
yeah,
working with some different countries like, South Africa, we're talking to right now, and Australia, we're working on some things, um, that you can protect your plant breeds there, and if you have that over there, you can make it transfers with you here, right? Is what
well,
I've learned.
Rick didn't really see the importance of it. He thought it was a like a
Come
non-issue.
on.
And that's totally fine. It's
Here's the
his
thing, he doesn't think that anything is
right.
necessary, that he's brilliant, but he's not really looking at new knowledge at this point because he's
Yeah.
retired. He's tired. He wants to fish. So he's thinking, well, it's worked for 30 years. Why the hell would I need to do anything different? like,
Yeah, so when I
so,
talked to him, he wasn't really super receptive to this idea.
well, I am, and
However,
I'm the
like I
CEO.
said, I've got a huge bank of Brothers Grimm Seeds, so we grew some out, and they're gonna end up in our database. So if there is something out there that turns out that someone's selling, for example, Cinderella 99 and calling it something else, like, that is stepping on Rick's, intellectual property.
So his philosophy has always been, and I'm going to change that. We're going to get these things. All right. He just doesn't know yet. He's old school. His philosophy is he has no control over what happens to his genetics after he sells them.
And right now, that is true.
Right. So he's just like, why am I going to sit there and stress myself out and worry about this? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So he's just like, once it's gone, it's gone. You know what I mean? Like
And it
anybody can
shouldn't
breed
be
with it,
like that.
anybody can create mothers out of it. And that's another issue. It's like you sell, 10,000 seeds to, they create mothers. They don't need to buy your seeds anymore, right? Because they create the mothers off it. And he has no protection for that either. Right.
Right,
So we don't have contracts that say, once you do that, you can't make mothers off our
right.
stuff. We have no control over what they do once they get the seeds.
And it
So
really shouldn't be like that, especially for people that are selling flour into the marketplace. Like, of course, the home grower, which is what Rick grew up with, like, that's what he grew his company out of, his home growers. They're not making a ton of money off of selling a bunch of, Cinderella 99. But now that we've got this legal industry where somebody can
MSOs.
buy Cinderella 99, they can grow up mothers, they can grow up thousands of plants, sell, hundreds of thousands of dollars of flour that essentially came from Rick. I mean, he should be able to have some sort of control or some sort of, IP legal protection over his
That
creations.
protects our brand and quality of
Yeah,
our
yeah.
genetics, right? So basically the way that we went about, like, I guess, s saving it or whatever, we basically just we won't guarantee anything that is not from us. So if it's, if, let's say our international distributor or, someone calls us from, wherever, um, unless it is packaged by us and has our name on it, or we've already authorized certain like authorized retailers or things like that, we can't guarantee that that's our product, right? So, people will call us and be like, oh, I didn't get any germination. Da, 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 da. Well, where'd you buy it from? Is it one of our authorized retailers? Is it from us? If not, then, I mean, there's a lot of companies selling things as our strains that are not our strains. There's
Mhm.
also a lot of companies making up new pages on Instagram and Facebook and reaching out through groups and saying that we're selling flour. We've had several customers get like robbed for like $600, $1,200. They're buying flour. I'm like, we don't sell flour, but they're
Mhm.
creating other profiles. I think there's been 14 this year profiles under our brand. So
There's
we just
some
put out public statements and say, look, guys, We will never do this. We will
Mhm.
never call and ask you for money through a messenger. We will never sell you flowers, any of that stuff. If you have any doubt whatsoever, call us. Look at the
And guess
spelling
who's
of the
gonna
name.
pick up
It's
the
not Mr.
phone?
Souls, Brothers Grimm Seeds. It's Mr. Soul. There are telltale signs that
Yeah,
it's
and
not
guess who's gonna pick up the phone if somebody calls? It's gonna be you, right?
us.
So if you're not talking to Laura, Mrs. Soul, then you're not talking to Brothers Grimm.
Correct. On social media, on all that stuff. So the only people that work on our social media are myself and Mark.
Yep,
And then the rest is I answer all the calls. Yep.
yep. I have noticed that you have been a lot more active. I mean, we're now connected on Facebook. I follow you on TikTok. I probably on Instagram, but I'm not on Instagram very often. But you've kind of up your social media game. I've noticed, and not only promoting Brothers Grimm and the various whatevers, but I didn't know that you're also a musician.
Yeah, I am. And
So, that's been cool. Are you seeing a lot of new traction from the social media accounts that you have, or is it just sort of still the same?
oh no, tons of traffic. So um in reference to the music side, I wouldn't say that the traffic's from there. I'm
No,
not
but it's nice to
yeah.
see you playing your songs and stuff.
So I play a piano, flute, the violin, and the harp. And I sing. I have my whole family's musical. My aunt's is a professional harp and piano teacher. My mom was a pianist and a guitar player. Grandfather was an opera singer. So we're a very musical family. I never played the guitar or the bass at all because I kind of had some problems with my mom growing up, and my mom played the guitar, so I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna play the guitar." But when I healed, it's just like, why am I like hindering myself? So I started playing the bass last year.
Hmm.
um, I've been taking lessons for a year basically. And I write all my own songs, and then I just started playing the guitar like 2 months ago. So it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress.
See, so we actually used to be almost neighbors in Colorado. We just discovered this after I already live in New Jersey. But do you play anywhere locally? Like
Yep.
you do? Yeah.
So we've done 3 open mics so
Woo.
far.
Where at? In Greeley or
And
when
so
where
in
in
Loveland, yeah.
Loveland?
Yeah. We
Nice.
just played 3, and then I played one show with my teacher, my old teacher.
Mhm.
He did like a music, students,
Like a
yeah,
showcase?
venue or whatever, yeah. So, did that, super embarrassing because I wasn't that great. I don't re believe it or not, I don't really I'm a little uncomfortable, like, doing podcasts and performing in front of people. I don't know why, but I am. I used to perform all the time. I used to juggle, performance. My mom was a mime. So, I used to
Wow,
juggle on Pearl Street Mall when I was a kid and juggled with Karamazov Brothers.
that's cool.
But then when I, like, started growing up and obviously kids are like, "You're a clown," or whatever, like, there was just something, like, that was embedded in me that I didn't wanna do anymore. I just got, like, embarrassed. I used to also be in musicals, and I think it was, like, Maria and West Side Story and Sound of Music, and I used to do all that stuff. Then I stopped for a long time, and after I got through about 7 years worth of learning to love myself again, right, and then going
Mhm.
through all my past trauma, then I started performing again.
Yeah, oh my god. My first, couple times public speaking, and it was in front of my friends at school, uh, terrified. Like, you
Yeah,
could
and
hear my
picturing
voice
people naked does not help.
just terrified, like, my voice would shake, like, I'd have to hold on to the podium because my knees were knocking so bad, and it really took some deep reflection to just tell myself, like, no one's gonna laugh at you. No one's gonna like try to call you out or ask you questions that you don't know. Like people are not there to be mean. They're
And
there
who
to
cares
listen
if
to
they
you.
do? You
They're
love yourself.
well, they're there to listen to you. If they didn't want to listen to you, they wouldn't be there, right? So
Yeah.
it really took a lot of yeah, self-reflection and scolding myself to stop being so stupid.
And
And
what's
then
crazy is
I
like
think also going through menopause helps. Like I'm at that certain age where I just don't give a shit what anybody
don't
thinks.
give a shit. That's exactly what happened to me. Like, so, like whenever before I had my first child, so I've got a 25-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 10-year-old, and then a granddaughter. But my very first child, I was sick and I still had to go to work, and I was in collections at that time. Like I was, doing collections. And
Mhm.
I really wasn't that great at it, at first. And then I was having to go to work anyway, and all these people are complaining. I'm like, and I just like got over that. But these days it's like I had so much trauma from my past that I was worried about what people thought about me.
Mhm.
I don't worry about that shit anymore, and when I see my kids worried about that stuff, it's just like, look, everybody has gone through something or has doubts or fears or this or like you don't have to be embarrassed. The problem is people like get rooted in fear and they're not themselves. They create a false persona to
Mhm.
impress people, and then they're not, staying true to themselves, which is depleting them, right? So it's like
Mhm.
who cares what people think? Love yourself enough to not let anybody love you less, and you'll attract that vibration in my
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
perspective.
Mhm.
So I when I started my magazine, I had to go out and do podcasts and go travel around the whole state. And I was so nervous. So, but it's like, I don't find myself nervous when I'm speaking about other, like, let's say I'm speaking on a subject or whatever, if it's not written by me, like, right. I can speak in front of people if it's not written by me. Right. But if it's my works or my, like a book report or something that I have to create, that's just like, is it good enough? I used to be like, "Is it good enough?
Yeah.
I don't know if I wanna do that." So, it's only when it's like an original works that I have trouble, you know?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I, at one point, I give a lot of presentations. I just at one point, like, because I would try to, like, memorize what I wanted to say so that I wouldn't screw it up, and then I would have, like, speaker notes so that I wouldn't screw it up, and honestly, it was holding me back, because I
Wow.
was trying to make sure that I was so perfect, and at some point, I was just like, Anna, this is your story, like, this is your work, this is
Right.
what the stuff
And you
just
can tell
talk."
that shit. Like, I told my husband that, like, when he used like, doing his guitar and he's making me re-record it 30 times, I'm like, "Dude, I'm done recording." And then I'll sneak around the corner and record him when he's not being watched, and it's, like, awesome because he's
Yeah.
being real and authentic, right? So, when you're
Mhm.
scripted, you can tell people can tell that it's just like you're reading off of a freaking teleprompter or it's scripted, you're not connecting, and if you're just letting it be raw and emotional and real, even if you make a mistake, that is you're connecting with the people because you're being your authentic self. Authenticity is the highest form of energy, so,
Right, and we're all just people, you
yeah.
know? Yeah,
We're all just trying to figure this shit out.
exactly,
There's no
exactly.
instruction booklet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, alright, so we in this industry are going through some shit right now. Not only do we have potentially the rescheduling of marijuana, cannabis from Schedule 1, which is fully illegal, to Schedule 3, but also the Farm Bill is coming up to be reassessed, and some of our elected officials have taken it upon themselves to put in some problematic language to redefine what hemp is. And this is like serious shit, guys. And it could potentially shut down the entire cannabis industry. And so I feel like, you and I have been in the thick of it since this started coming at us, and threatening the ability to ship seeds nationwide and internationally, and
To even be able to research or, you know,
Mhm.
preserve
Everything.
genetics. Yeah, I mean, you can't even research them because I can't get them to you, AKA scientist, to, like, do your research, like,
Right.
to preserve genetics it's a we're all
So
the
let's
whole
let's
industry is
start from the
a threat.
beginning with who and what these changes in the redefining of hemp. Who and what are these proposed changes? And then we'll talk about the potential outcomes of what will happen if they pass this language as it is.
Right. So back in, few years back, seeds were changed. The language on seeds were changed by the DEA. The federal DEA approved that in seed form, all seeds are hemp, right? No matter what they will grow into one day, it was approved that all seeds are hemp. That's one of the reasons we can legally ship to all states with the certificates of analysis. That's how we're operating right now. We don't have to operate through the marijuana authority. We don't have to, get a marijuana license to grow. We are just Colorado agricultural farmers right now because
Mhm.
all seeds test at 0.3%, no matter what they will grow into one day. And we're only seed producers. Well, this new language that, went into the bill is basically any part of the plant that is going to produce THC, right? So whether a seed is in seed form 0.3, if any part of that plant is going to produce high THC, it is now going to be declassified as a non-hemp product, right? So they're changing the language to where what it may produce one day. I don't
Or
know
where
how
it
you
came
define
from.
something in the beginning.
If the parents are THC type plants,
Sure.
then the seed that it's produced is now
Yes, that's
THC.
how they would regulate it, right? They're saying there's
Yeah.
one or two ways that they would regulate it. They don't have enough resources to grow out every seed that's
Mhm.
produced, right? But they if they test the parents and it is, you know, has a high THC, you're fucked. Excuse my language,
Right.
but so that we have until November 13th of next year to try to get the language removed or at least, stay as what it is
They
currently.
use what it is right now, which would be ideal because there's no reason to be regulating, like,
Well, and it was never even a concern really. Like this kind of was like thrown in on the back end, or weren't we when we were working on it? We thought it was thrown out and it wasn't going to affect anything, and then all of a sudden,
yeah.
like we're all here, and like the whole seed industry is at risk. Well,
Mhm.
the whole root of the cannabis industry and the hemp industry comes from genetics, so we're
Mhm.
going to regulate that. Like I think seeds, based on what they are at the root, should be regulated by the agricultural department, like tomato seeds or freaking, they are seeds.
Poppy seeds.
Farming is what they should be. Agriculture should be that. But
Poppy seeds are not regulated, whether
exactly,
it's you could grow those poppy seeds into
and,
poppies, and then you could be
and
making
make heroin.
yeah, you can make heroin at your house. Or
No regulations, but
the
seeds
issue
now. Are you kidding me?
the issue with poppies is that, sure, you can buy them, you can grow them, but if you're cooking up heroin in your basement and then selling it, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble. The same, I feel like, and I'm not comparing marijuana
Right,
to
obviously.
heroin, but if you could buy cannabis seeds or hemp seeds, you grow the plant. You can do with whatever that plant you want. You can spray
Right,
pesticides on it. You can do whatever you want with that plant. You can bring that plant inside and you can smoke it in your own home. But if you're going to package it up and sell it, that's where the regulations should step in and
right.
say,
That's
"Oh,
where they fit.
you're going to be packaging this up and
But
selling
to
THC."
regulate us, right, and not even allow us to sell, they're talking about like scheduling as a Schedule 1. Like, with fentanyl. And you know what's even crazier is clones are not included in that bill.
Neither is tissue culture or seedlings yeah. So I don't know why
So the
they
fact that
put
genetics are in there is mind blowing to me.
right, and yeah, I don't know why they've decided to attack seeds. That's just like the stupidest thing ever.
It-
Um, and so for anybody watching, if you want to join the fight, add your name, send letters to your senators, or call them and fight with us. You can either get a hold of me or Laura,
Yep.
because we want as many people yelling about this as possible. There's a couple of good things that, in terms of the language. For example, any cannabinoid made in a lab is not hemp, right? That's
Correct.
coming
Correct.
off, which is a
Correct. I
loophole at
think
the moment.
there definitely needs to be regulations on some of the industry. Correct. Right.
Yes. So if it's something made in a lab, it is not hemp. So I like that piece of the language.
Mhm.
Obviously the seed part is a problem, and then there's two other points that I can't remember right now. Uh,
Well, I will tell you, so we've spent the last weeks. You were with us on this, so we're reaching out to the communities. We're creating a structure right now. So we're even like companies that haven't really necessarily, as there's a lot of drama in the industry, which is a little bit ridiculous. But companies that are competitors that aren't talking to each other, we're
mhm,
all coming together,
mhm.
right, and working together to make sure that that we can create change here and break this cycle. So, like, I'm working with Seedsman, I'm working with North Atlantic Seed Bank, we're working with, Royal King Seeds. We're meeting weekly and we are creating a strategy, working with lobbyists and attorneys to get this changed, right? So, we will be creating an entity this week, organizing that structure, filing for our 501(c)(6), getting all of that in place so that we are able to march Washington,
Mhm,
basically,
mhm.
and make sure that we are all, gonna survive here.
Oh, it's okay.
We
I'm
should also create one where we bring several people from, you know, this industry on your podcast and you have like a group forum where we're talking about this stuff and getting it out there live. Like Montel comes on,
Mhm.
Seedsman, like Doc, Matthew Indest, and
Mhm.
we bring like 6 or 7 industry leaders on a podcast and weekly push out this message.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Oh, we could do a
And
live one once a
we
week or once a month or twice a month or something where we're doing it with Montel, Skunk Magazine, and we do a live where it's interactive questions from the community.
we could do that. You're paying for the StreamYard, so we could do that. But
Gotta do something with it.
gotta tell with
Oh,
that.
I think that'd be a good way to like reach people because they get to interact with the conversation. Like if they have questions like, well, how did this happen? Or, why is it like, what do we do? We get to engage with them and that
No, I
gets
think
the people more interested.
that's a pretty groovy idea, and I think if we had it live streamed on LinkedIn and YouTube, for example, then we could start getting, we could bring some industry leaders, as you said, people with letters behind their name or have large affiliations with
Attorneys,
MSOs or whatever the
legal,
case may be.
yeah,
Maybe lawyers, um,
doctors, lawyers,
things like that.
university.
And then, yeah, we can start getting the community involved because I don't like I just became a citizen not too long ago. Uh so I'd never called a congressperson, a senator, nothing because, I didn't have any say in anything. But I think that the community can make a big fuss and make a lot of noise if they
The
start
community
calling and
is the
emailing.
industry, right? Where is everybody selling all of this stuff to? There's more home growers in the world, patients, right? They are the people we need to be talking to, right? Those are the
Mhm.
people we need to reach because those are the numbers.
Mhm.
So we need to be speaking to them, not speaking to an MSO over here or just the government, or we need to get them engaged so that they are out there advocating for us. I wouldn't say fighting or battling, but advocating for themselves. Like, this
Going to
medicine makes
town
them feel
halls
good.
and filling up message
Yeah.
boxes and inboxes and
Yeah. Writing
letting them know,
letters,
like,
doing all that
we
stuff. We put on our website, anybody who will write their senator and show us their, letter or whatever, we'll give them a free pack of seeds. Or, we're pushing them because we want their voices to be heard. It's not just about our businesses, it's about their health. It's
Mhm.
about their livelihood. It's about how it makes them feel. And I mean, alcohol is legal. Are you freaking kidding me?
Right.
Like cigarettes like, and we're
Mhm.
literally arguing over a seed.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
it's it's pretty disheartening. So, it's a lot, but I think that if we got the patients more involved and we did like where we put it out there, like we could get it to where it's on your network, on Montel's network, my network, Season network, and we were pushing it out, a message out there weekly, live with interactive comments. I think that we would make some stink,
We
some
need to
stink
make
for,
some we need to make some waves, and we need to yell, and we need to yell loud,
and we have a
because
very short window of time.
yeah.
It's January, almost the end of January already, and this thing is coming up November 13th. Right now, they
So
did file for an extension though, so we have something that's pending right now where they're asking for a 2-year extension.
oh, that's right. But still, that means we can just make a lot more noise and a lot more waves and,
Exactly.
just
Yeah,
keep
and I've
rattling
also
cages.
gotten like so we've got a lot of people to support us. Like most of the genetic companies and breeders are on board. We've got doctors. I've got Native Health Matters. Timothy Hausberg. I don't know if you know who he is. Do you know? But he sits on the U.S. Hemp Roundtable,
Mhm.
and he is on board with us, right? So
Mhm.
we're getting a lot of people that have some swaying
Clout.
power
Yeah,
that
clout.
have medical research and actual scientific facts behind them, right? You,
Mhm.
right? Um, which is what has been lacking for a long time. The industry got a little bit lost, I think, for a minute, where it was just focused on like dab contests and getting high and like bro fests and all this stuff, which that's fine. There's a side where people can go have fun with the plant doing that thing and like that's
Mhm.
fine. But we lost the side of the medicine where it became more focused on that than it should have been focused on the research and the science and the benefits of this plant, right?
Mhm.
And how it can like improve lives. So I feel like we need to really as a industry focus, and there's more patients than there are bros. Okay. Like let's focus on what this plant truly can do and how it can improve health. And I think that there's big pharma and there's pharmaceuticals and things like that where everybody's like down with pharma and up with, whatever. But I think there's a benefit in both, right? It's the thing we need to get them working together. Like
Mhm.
basically, big pharma is a topical thing that is an immediate relief, but it just masks the problem. The plant medicine, the natural medicine heals it, right? So we need to be working together, not fighting each other. Um, I think there's just a real disconnect there with
Mhm. Well,
pharmaceuticals and
and in this
natural.
industry, there is a lot of infighting, the
So
old
much
grower
gossip in high
dudes don't
school.
trust the old grower dudes
Just
don't trust the scientists. The scientists are like, "You don't know what you're doing." Like, you're just slapping names on the shit and calling it indica.
when I
Yeah.
first started my magazine, I started it because my daughter had a skin disease that was like misdiagnosed 32 times. She had like third-degree burns all over her body. She couldn't take baths, she couldn't sleep, like bleeding, like it was awful. And when they do lab tests, right? They don't test for parasites, they don't test for Lyme, they don't test for heavy metals, they don't test for mold or funguses.
Mm,
You have to specifically request those tests, right?
mhm.
Let's say someone is on state assistance, right? They're not gonna test for that shit. Even
Right.
if you I was turned in 3 times, when I owned my magazine for going against mainstream medicine, and they put me under DHS investigations
Mm,
because I was doing a documentary with, uh, you know, uh, Dr. Regina Nelson, who does the endocannabinoid treatment. I was doing pH balancing of her blood. I was doing, electronic frequency treatment through Dr. Dory Abbott. Like, I was doing all these that were outside of the box.
alternative
Right,
medicine.
and they basically turned me in, and I had to go through all these I won, and she's healed now, but, like, there's a lot of disconnect. She had 2 different type of parasites in her liver, she had heavy metals in her and she had mold, fungus,
Where did it come from?
environment,
Do you see
right? Like,
she's
high
sensitive?
humidity in Oklahoma and flooding creates mold in the body, right? Or, heavy metals and paint and yeah, I mean, it came from the environment, and they don't test for that.
Right.
Parasites come from
Where
foods,
yeah.
from,
Maybe
so,
she ate a dirt cake when she was little.
and they don't test for Lyme disease either. They don't test for Lyme in regular labs. You have to
Mm.
specifically request that. People get bit by ticks and they can live with that Lyme that's affecting their physical being for years.
Well,
And
there's no cure, right?
there's no test for it either. So you don't even know what's wrong with you. Unless you specifically request that test, you get these labs back, you get your full CBC done, your full report done, and says, "Oh, everything's perfectly normal." Well, why am I in pain? Why am I hurt? Like, what is wrong
Mhm.
with me then? Right? And they're
Right.
just like, "You're crazy. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. Labs are fine."
Oh
So
god.
it's a
Yeah.
shit show. But I
Yeah.
think that if we could all start working together, I think there's enough resources to get around for everybody. And if we remove the greed from the
Yeah.
root of things, I think that the world would be a much better place.
Well, and I was saying that there is a lot of infighting in this industry. There's the hemp, you know, industry versus the marijuana industry, the rec versus the medical, the scientists versus
Like
the
high school,
legacy.
dude. It's like
The
high school.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. The bros versus the craft growers versus the
The
MSOs, like
ex partners versus the this, the that, and the blah. I mean, there's been a lot of blowback for Rick too. Like Rick,
indica versus sativa.
yeah, there's so much. There's like one is the bro industry where Rick's made some choices in his life that aren't great, and vice versa. And they're like all attacking each other online. I'm like, what are we doing here? We are
Mhm.
adults. Like, let's figure out. I was going to start a podcast called Hash It and Cash It and just bring all of these people in, keep talking shit, and just we're gonna smoke a ball, we're gonna hash it out, and then we're gonna cash it out.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, and so like my intent there was not like to shit show either party, but it was to get that person's side of the story, get that person's side of the story, and bring them back together because everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's growing through this industry. Like sometimes things go so fast in this industry that you're not even realizing like some choices that are being made. You're just letting people handle that shit for you, and then it blows back on you like you made this decision. Like I'll address a capulator situation right with Rick because I'm a transparent person, so everybody can ask me anything they need to ask. he was partnered with so he was a nuclear engineer at high torque, right? And Rocky Fisher reached out to him through because he was the regional sales manager of high torque and he wanted to start a flower facility in Oklahoma. Well, they started a flower facility and it was going fast, and all these commercial cultivators in Oklahoma were buying all these genetics. Well, it was a Mac 1 clone was coupled into an invoice that was sent. Obviously, you know Capuletor's rule, or maybe you don't. Mac 1 cannot be sold, it has to be gifted, right? So because this clone ended up in this invoice, because it was grouped into a whole bunch of invoices, right? I mean, with a bunch of other plants, it came back on Rick that he like was trying to sell this Mac 1 clone and he wasn't even the one that made the invoice. He had no idea and he never even got paid for it. But like now there's an issue there. And I'm like, it wasn't intentional, but he could have been more attentive to his who was invoicing for his genetics, or he could have reviewed that. I mean, there are things that he could have done better in that situation, but like there's so many things going on. It's like even me running this company has gotten so much bigger. Like I've letting things fall out sometimes. Like I'm like, oh shit, we didn't test that. Or whoa, wait, let's send that out. You know, but there's only so much I can keep up with, you know. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that feed off media and feed off drama. More people so feed off drama than truth. They'd rather hear drama than truth. So a lot of people, I'll get a wave once a month of this negative feedback from, oh, you know, when we released Bubbles Blueberry, right?
Mhm.
Um, DJ Short Blueberry by DJ Short Blueberry. That's what we bred with because that's what we were requested to breed with. Well, he sold those genetics. They're like, "Well, did you get his permission to run his strain? You're stealing his block." Like, what are you talking about? We put his name on the package. We gave him credit for it. We just bred two plants together. People feed off that. They like to feed off drama, and I don't like to react to it. So I'll either just let it ride itself out, or I try to like reverse the perception of like, "Hey, dude, let's just all get along." I try to not react to any negative, but there's a lot of
And I
negative.
think that's like another reason why I started this podcast is because, we're all on social media being keyboard warriors, and I'm a big proponent of transparency and correcting misinformation, and I'm all about helping people. But every now and then, somebody comes at me, it's usually a white man. But but or people question my credentials. Where the fuck did you get a PhD in cannabis? There isn't such a thing. And it's like, bro, like, here's my website. You can actually see like my, degree. You can read my dissertation. You can read the papers that I published on it.
Everything is
I'm
right
not
there.
lying.
But they won't either. They'll just
No, they
continue
won't.
to
Right.
because they like to feed off that shit.
Right.
People
So
people are so pre-programmed that it is normal for them to when things are normal and like just going smoothly, they're like, what the fuck? So they're creating chaos to feel normal again, right? So they grew up in chaos. It's like the chaos disorder is what it's called.
yeah,
Chaos disorder.
yeah. And
It's a nightmare. I try to flip intent most of the time, but if someone is just going on, I'm just like, much love to you,
have a
and
nice
I just
day.
I'm done. I'm not gonna sit there and battle back and forth and tap the tennis ball back and forth because that's just feeding the fire, right?
I mean, I
So
think it's my touch of the tism that I have where I have to like get my point across and I have to make the person understand. And sometimes they just won't. So I feel like, I
can't
started
force
this
perception.
podcast because number one, things get lost when you're reading text. Like the nuance and the tone of voice gets lost. And you could be in a perfectly good mood and they're reading it as your bitch, kind of thing. And then just being able to get what you're trying to say across in a certain amount of characters. So even LinkedIn, you're limited to 1,200 characters. So then, if you're really giving somebody like a full lesson, like you got to get it across succinctly, and even then, like, are they actually going to read the whole thing, or are they just going to come back at you with some
Well,
like,
that's
"Fuck
why when I
you"?
send text messages, I do voice text
You
every single
do,
time.
you
And my
do.
friends are like, "Why are you doing that? Just type it." I'm like, people cannot tell the tone of your text. People cannot like I want people to hear my energy. I want them to connect with me. You can text me back in writing, that's fine, but first of all, it's faster. I just push the record button, but they also get to hear my tone and how I'm responding to them and I'm connecting with them, right? So I'm a voice texter.
No, and I appreciate it because sometimes if you're just like, okay, it can be perceived as
Like, did you do
okay, or
something
like,
wrong? Like, okay,
what?
what?
Why'd she put a period after that? Okay.
Yeah. And
uh,
did you just say that? Yeah, like
Brett,
the rest of the day.
Brett goes, does she ever just send normal text messages? And I was like, no, they're always voice text.
Yeah, I'm not a normal texter. I'm just not a normal human being, you know? I'm just
But
a little bit different than everybody.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, well, Laura, it's been awesome talking to you. Last things, do you have anything else that you want to talk about or tell people about? Like, when they come on to, brothersgrim.com, I'm assuming. Uh,
Well, we're working on revamping the site, so be patient. It might be a little slow sometimes. So we're working on that. But I would just like to encourage people to open their eyes a little bit and like not feed into the media so much, but actually do the research on their own in reference to industry, in reference to legalities, in reference to medicine, in reference to all things. Like just don't always believe what you're told. Find out yourself. Like look yourself. Don't let people don't let people fool you.
don't let
Just
people fool you. And
stay open.
some people don't know where to go to get the correct information, though. Like sometimes
Right.
the places that they're going to get the information, they think they're doing their research, and
Don't
they
use
really
Google.
just
Don't use Google. Get a book. Just kidding. Call us directly and speak to us. That's what I would say. If you have any questions about our company or about genetics or about how to grow, and call me, and I will
so
talk to
and
you personally.
and you're not hard to find. I mean, you're on Instagram, you're on LinkedIn, you're on
X.
TikTok,
I'm
you're
on
on
Facebook.
X. I'll put your
Just
email and
oh,
phone number up so
yeah,
people look, I mean, you're just not that hard to find. And so
really not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me?
What's next for you, Miss Anna?
Oh my goodness. I'm working with MyFlora. We've got some really exciting products coming up that I had a hand in developing. True Cut, we're still working on actually fully launching that. We've got, I think, actually, I have a package here from Kevin. It is full of samples of skunk number one because there is a big conversation that people have, skunk number one. People are talking about it. Where did it go? Who's got it? How do you tell if it's the real one? So Kevin Jodry sent me a shit ton of skunk number ones to put into our genetic database so we can maybe be able to tell people, yes, you have skunk number one. No, you don't have
Well,
skunk number
I
one.
want to be a part of that. So
All
I
right.
want to send you all of our stuff so that you can
Sure, and
go to town with it.
we do have a bunch of yours in there already from, stuff that I've grown, but yeah, like we're creating this database. We want it to be
So how are
affordable
you
for.
doing that? Are you testing the seeds? Or are you testing the plant, the leaf matter? Like we're
it,
taking off.
it can be leaf, it can be stem, it can be flower, it can be dried flower, like
What
if you've
about
got
seeds?
flower from last year. Seeds, we don't have a way to I don't know that we can do seeds. So we're
If
not
you
the
crush the seeds, you can't do it.
I don't know. We can ask. So the way they were doing it is we do the intake of the material, then
Mhm.
we anonymize everything and we send it to the genetic company. So they don't actually know what they're testing. Like they know it's
Right.
cannabis, but they don't
So I
know.
wonder if you can crush seeds. I would ask them
Yeah,
if they can
I'll
test the
ask.
seeds. So I could send you the parents, all the clippings from the parents, but I wonder if there's a way you could test the seeds too, because I'd like to see that.
If you can send us the parents and then send us the offspring, like if you have the parents of however you bred Cinderella 99 and then you want to register, like get IP on Cinderella 99 and Rick would own it then, we could definitely do that if he has the parents. If he doesn't have the
We have all the
parents,
parents.
yeah, so he could then start to license out. And I know he's not interested in
Well,
that, but like
he's retiring in March. I am interested.
so you could license out to large cultivators, make actual like contracts with them where you can
Sweet.
grow Cinderella 99, but we're taking part of your profits. Or you can breed with Cinderella 99, but
Right.
we're going to take part of
We have
whatever you
some
make up.
licensing deals like that now,
Yeah.
and, even though we can't promise that exclusively someone is not gonna have C99 in that state or whatever, it's exclusively Brothers Grimm, like, where we can guarantee them with a
Hmm.
contract, like, "Hey, this is our product that we sign off on." We can't guarantee that someone's not gonna come in and produce another version of C99, right? because of
Well,
the
so then
brand.
that's the breeder part where you can get IP protection on your creations.
Mhm.
The next part is cultivator. So somebody's growing, let's say Cinderella 99, and they're like, I don't know if the person that I got this, if they didn't get it directly from you, I don't know if this really is Cinderella 99. It seems to be a
Right.
little different.
You can
They
test
can
that.
send it in, and we can be able to say, yes, this is Cinderella 99, or
So
no,
where
it's
do
not.
you so where how do you so let's say you have a database that has Cinderella 99 and it has Rosetta Stone, has yada yada yada. Where did that data come from? Like, how do you know that that data that is in there is the actual Cinderella? You see what I'm saying? Like, where
Well,
did you,
yeah, because I bought seeds from you,
right?
right?
But I'm
So
just
I
saying,
have.
like, across all the board, like let's say cookies or let's say anything, like like how do we guarantee that is Girl Scout cookies? You know what I mean? From the beginning, like, are you going to the source of all of the original?
Well, something that's been in the market, like, and it's not getting sent in from the source and they don't have the parents, we can't guarantee that that is the thing.
Right,
Like Durban poison, for
right,
example. Like,
yeah,
there's not just one Durban poison. Somebody,
yeah,
like, and there's a ton of different ones. But what we can do is say, after we have like with the skunk number one, we will
right.
get a consensus of most of the skunk number ones look like this. If you don't have this, then you don't have skunk number one.
Characteristics, qualities, right, right. So
It's just genetics. It's not
genetics, yeah.
it's not nothing to do with the phenotype.
Well, you
So
know what? I
we
think I might get you hooked up with Scentsy because they have an entire vault of original strains, right? That you could just go to
yeah,
town
I
on.
mean, if they would wanna get in the database, that'd be great. We're crowdsourcing right now
I'm gonna
with
get them in there. I'm gonna get them in there because
we're
we're doing
crowdsourcing
it
to
doing a
beef up our
collaboration with them.
database, but we have to pay for every test that we do. So, like, this is not something that we can do for free.
Well, we would
So
help with the testing.
oh, that would be awesome. We're kind of looking for anybody to help invest in
Sponsor.
the company so that we can create a large database, because it not only helps breeders get IP and protect their genetics, it also helps cultivators to be able to sell what they think they're selling and give peace of mind to the consumers, because ultimately we're all doing this work for the consumers. We're not doing it because, we I mean, we all love the plant, but like ultimately it's for the
This
consumers,
is
whether they're
to protect
rec
them.
or
Yeah.
whether they're patients, right? So then, but then we need consumer trust. So the consumer needs to be able to look at the shelf and say,
Right, it's just like any
Durban,
product.
yeah,
Yeah,
Durban poison. It's been verified by TrueCut. I know that's Durban poison because
right.
they've
Yeah,
genetically tested it, and it is. So then the consumer gets more trust, and they can find products that work for them, and know where it's coming from, as opposed to just buying Durban poison and hoping that it's the same as it was last time. Um, and like I said, and then we can start connecting the dots from verified strains to
right.
consumer experiences.
So what do you
Um,
guys test through?
who?
Yeah, the
Right
lab.
now, we're doing testing with CD Genomics, and they do
Okay.
testing for all kinds of stuff. They're not just a cannabis company.
Okay.
And I don't even think they are a cannabis company, but they don't know. So, like I said, we gather the material to send in,
Right.
and then we anonymize it. So we assign a string of letters and numbers. They get
Right.
the sample. They have no idea what it is.
What
So
it
they
is.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to say, "Oh my god, this is Cinderella 99," and then do something with that.
Let's call Brothers Grimm and get them to pay, and we're gonna say
Yeah, or
whatever.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
there's just
anonymous testing so that it can be that like verified. Yeah, I like
yeah,
that.
and then we get the data back in the form of, sequence, data or DNA information, and then we de-anonymize it. So then we can say, okay, we've got the data back from Cinderella 99. Here it is in the database. It was bred by, Rick Campanella, Mr. Soul from Brothers Grimm, and now you're in the database so that if anything else pops up and matches Cinderella 99, but it has another name, let's say, then we know that somebody's out there selling what is Cinderella 99
I
as
bet you're gonna
something
have a
else.
lot of that.
I bet we're gonna have a lot of that too.
A
The other thing
lot
that we're
of
gonna
that.
have a lot of is somebody selling something like Cinderella 99 with a different name.
I'm saying a lot of that from all over, not just ours genetic, but like I think that's gonna pop up a lot. I think there's gonna be a lot of where the same company is selling the same strain with two different names.
Yep, for sure.
And I think that is gonna be huge.
Yeah. I had samples in California, um, Tahoe OG and Larry OG from two different dispensaries. they were backwards. Like the Larry OG matched the Tahoe OG, and the Tahoe OG matched the Larry
They
OG, which means that
mislabeled.
somebody just mislabeled it. And I don't think that it was like anybody.
Intentional.
Yeah, I don't think it was intentional. Somebody just
It was
mixed
just
up.
cool. They just
They
didn't
just
label it
mixed it
right.
up. And
That's
then like
exactly why we don't release seeds that we drop, or we do this.
right.
If there's any doubt in the mislabeling, then I've had a
And
couple
then
employees this last year do that.
I had something called Island Sweet Skink. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that
Island sweet skunk.
and it was probably someone either typing it in, did skank instead of skunk, or really bad handwriting. It could be,
Or
I
they
mean,
did it on purpose thinking that they were gonna be funny. Or
got, Kevin's package here, and he's written on all these envelopes, and his handwriting is not the greatest. So I'm not even sure that when I put it in the database, it's going
or
to
just
be
somebody who's like a newer, like in this industry, there's a lot of younger kids, that are working at dispensaries, being managers or whatever, and they're entering it into their system, and they might misspell something or they might
they
mistype
might
or
misspell something, or and of course we know that there's probably people mislabel. They've got some product on the shelf, it's
well,
not
like right
selling.
now
Put a
on
different.
Seed Finder, there's two different Rosetta Stone descriptions. One of them says is there's ginger ale in Rosetta Stone, and one of them says and they're wrong. Like half of Leafly, the description of our strains incorrect.
It's a lot of word of mouth, it's a lot of trust, it's a lot of poor record keeping or no record
Well, and what's
keeping.
crazy is like we'll reach out to them like, hey, that's the wrong description. Let me tell you what it's about, and they don't even respond or fix it.
Yeah, yeah. So the whole point of TrueCut is to kind of fix some of these issues and bring market maturity to the cannabis industry, because it is a legitimate industry now, and it shouldn't be that once you release a genetic into the public forum that it's just gone. Like that should not be the case. It's not the case in any other
It
industry.
should be preserved in all
If I
manners.
paint a picture and I put the picture of that picture on my website, somebody can't just like copy that and then sell it and make
Well, and
money off of.
even if a company was to, let's say, buy our seeds, right, and they're growing Cinderella 99 by Cinderella 99, and and that's what it is, Cinderella 99 by you know bred by Rick, right? But
Mhm.
but the version of True Leaf, or the
Right.
version of so
Tom's
and so cultivator,
Tom's Cinderella
right?
99.
Tom's Cinderella 99, just like it's like when Montel came to us and wanted us to do that Blue Dream White Widow cross. I had a bunch of people on social media going, "That's been done before," blah 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 blah, and I'm just like, okay, but it hasn't been done by Brothers Grimm, and they specifically came to us because of our breeding practices, and it's the Brothers Grimm version of this cross, all right?
Right.
Like,
And it's like saying that all of your kids are the same. Like if you and Rick have 17 kids, they're not all going to be the same. It's not like, oh, well, you've done that before. You've already had a
right.
kid.
I
Like,
mean, even
no, every
twins,
single
they're gonna
child
be
is different.
different.
Every single child is different. They've all got different names. They've all
Yeah.
got different
And
characteristics.
anybody can breed with our stuff. We even welcome it, but just put who it's by. Don't
Right,
claim
right,
it to be something that is not, right?
right, right.
All right.
Well, all right. So it has been a pleasure talking to you as always. I do have to go because I've got another meeting, but we should get offline and maybe talk about doing some Wednesday live action
I think we should. I
um,
think we should.
things.
I'll
That way
reach
you
out to
can.
some people also and get some more stuff. And I do want to support that testing and offer some testing fees to you guys to help you out with that.
I mean, that would be awesome. Like I said, we're looking for investors. I don't know if you'd be interested in doing any investing or support in some sort of capacity, but
Yeah,
we can
I would
talk
like to
about that.
support it in some fast. I don't know what that looks like yet. Send me
Right,
the info, but I'm in because
right,
I
right.
think it's a need.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I guess we will talk again soon, but
Later the
thanks
shit.
for coming on my show. It's pretty new to me, and this has been a great conversation. Thanks so much, Laura.